It's time for Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. And we welcome you to a gorgeous day here in Harwich, Massachusetts, where it's time for the Mariners' final home game of the season and the Whitecaps' next to last tune-up before they take the field in the Cape League playoffs. Carter Woodeel here alongside Maura Sheridan. Aiden Doyle will join us a little bit later on as well. And Maura, Brewster's coming off a big win. They knocked off the first-placed Orleans Firebirds 6-2 last night, and Jamie Shevchik dared to tell us that he thinks his squad is peaking at the right time with the playoffs just a few days from now.
I'd have to agree with Coach Jamie Shevchik. I mean, not only did they beat Orleans last night, they also beat YD 3 nights ago, and those are two teams that are right now at the top of the East Division, and you're potentially going to see one of them. We don't know who because of the way the playoff picture is going to shape up. It looks like at the very last minute in the East, so we're not sure who of those two teams that the Whitecaps are going to play, but it's going to be one of them, and to get wins at the very end of the season against teams that you only beat once this season and now Orleans twice, that's a really good sign for Jamie Shevchik's team. And
it wasn't just teams that were at the top of the standings. They were teams that the Whitecaps have really had trouble figuring out early on in the season. I mean, they beat Orleans on opening night, but since then they hadn't had a win against either one of those squads. Now they've beaten them both in consecutive games, which has to give them a lot of confidence heading into this matchup.
Absolutely, and this is a Harwich team that they've beat 4 times this year, so it's exactly the team you kind of want to play, although this is their last home game, so you got to believe the Mariners are going to put everything into it. They only have 2 games left in the season, so they want to go out with a bang, but, you know, this is kind of a good sign for Brewster going into the playoffs that this is the team they're playing right now, and they were able to beat the 2 top teams in the East coming into this series with Harwich.
All right, let's get you set on the lineup that the Whitecaps will be sending out today. It's pretty much all the regulars are in there. A couple are sitting out. Mickey Gasper is DHing. There's no Kyle Datris in this lineup. But on the whole, it's a pretty representative team. Nick Dunn is leading off. He'll play second base for Brewster today, nursing that 17-game hitting streak. Chandler Taylor hits second and will be out in right field. Mickey Gasper, the DH, will hit third. Marty Costas is the cleanup hitter. He will play left field. Hunter Bishop is hitting fifth and playing center. Julian Infante, the first baseman, will bat sixth. Michael Curry is catching. He will play catcher and bat in the 7 hole for Brewster. Christian Malfetta is at third, batting eighth, and AJ Graffinino, will round out the lineup and play shortstop. For a little bit more on the way this lineup was constructed, let's send it over to Aiden Doyle. Aiden?
Thanks, Carter. Well, yeah, you are right that this lineup does have a few more regulars than we've been seeing for the last couple of days since Brewster clinched their playoff spot. And when I talked to Coach Shevchik, he said it's just continuing to switch things up. The last few days, it's been mainly what we've called, like the B squad or mainly reserve players who have been in there. And now it's, I guess, switching back to the mean, almost overcompensating, getting a guy like Mickey Gasper, who sat out the last few games, but has been probably the most important player on this Whitecaps team this season, back into the lineup so that he's getting his reps coming into the playoffs, that he's, not going into round 1 cold. So it's just getting those guys who maybe have been sitting on the bench the last couple of days as some of the reserve players get their at-bats as well, so that everyone's getting their playing time. Michael Curry's at catcher, getting him some reps there. He's been working hard on his throwing. That way, everyone is kind of in-tuned, ready to go as we hit the playoffs in a couple days.
All right, thanks, Aiden. And Maura, yeah, that is one of the things that jumps out, what Aiden said with Curry catching. Gasper is the DH, kind of getting the half a day off today. What do you expect from Michael Curry? It's the first time in a while that he's suited up behind the plate for Brewster. What do you think Whitecaps fans should be looking for when he suits up?
Well, we've seen a lot of guys run on Michael Curry when he has been behind the plate, so it should be interesting to see what happens today. But I was talking to him the other day. He said he has a lot more confidence in his ability to catch. He's been talking to his college coach back at Georgia. He really wants him to get some reps, so that's probably why he's in this game right now, just to get out there, because he is going to be one of the main catchers at Georgia this year. So for him, it's all about confidence. They call it the yips with him. He just gets into his own head, and that's part of the reason he has the arm, the strength to do it. It's just a mental game with him. So hopefully we can just see him maybe throw out a base runner and kind of up his confidence as a catcher.
Curry has primarily been a designated hitter for the Whitecaps this year. He does have a .434 on base percentage, so he's doing the job when he gets called upon to hit, and he will be hitting again 7th in the Brewster Whitecaps lineup. As for what Harwich will be trotting out, the Mariners coming into this game at 14-27-1. They're playing for pride. They are out of the playoff picture. Antoine Duplantis will lead things off playing center field. Jake McCarthy is hitting second and playing right field, a man the Whitecaps have not seen before. Jonathan India, the shortstop, hits third. Josh Smith will hit fourth and play third base. Nick D'Alessandro will play catcher and hitting this 5-hole for the Mariners today. Kobe Vance, the second baseman, hits sixth. Jordan Verdon will be the DH, and he will hit in the 7th spot. Matt Vierling, the left fielder, bats 8th, and Max Birch will round out the order for Harwich, batting 9th. What stands out to you more? There are a lot of new additions or newer additions that are big portions of this Harwich lineup.
Yeah, Jake McCarthy played with Team USA for most of this summer, along with former Whitecap Seal Walker. So, you know, he was gone, and he is a very capable guy. Had a good year at Virginia for the Cavaliers. And then we saw Jonathan India and Duplantis. I think it was one of their first games when the Whitecaps played Harwich. So this is, as Jamie Shevchik always says to us, a changing Harwich team. They're always adding guys, and we've seen some tight games with this Mariners team. I know that the Whitecaps are 4-0, but they haven't been easy wins. Especially there was one where the Whitecaps were down 10-2. They came all the way back to win that game 11-10. So this is a Harwich team that is going to make the Brewster Whitecaps work for a win, regardless of what their record says.
That was one of the best games that we have seen all year with the Brewster Whitecaps when they pulled out that 11-10 win back on July 16th. That was the last time that these two teams have met. It's been a little while since Brewster and Harwich have suited up together, a lot of home and homes between these two clubs. Well, Brewster and Harwich will be taking the field in just a little bit when we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get you set on the pitching matchup ahead in this game, or rather kind of the pitching tapestry that each manager is going to be wielding. We'll have a little bit more details on that after this. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. All right, welcome you back to White House Field. Carter Woodhill and more shared here with you. They're doing a pregame presentation here for the Mariners. They just named the team MVP, and it's Tyler Baum. And speaking of Tyler Baum, he's one of the guys that looks like it's going to be taking the mound for this ball game tonight. Logan Browning is starting for Harwich, and Paulie Milto is starting for Indiana, but that for the Whitecaps from Indiana. And that is far from telling the whole story of how these managers are going to handle their pitching staffs tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As you and I were talking about it, it's kind of an odd situation as Paulie Milto's getting the start, but they're expecting him to go 2 to 3 innings, and then Bradley Spooner will split the first 5 innings with him. Again, 2 to 3. It sort of depends on how that goes. And then Troy Miller and Ryan Sear will split the rest of the game. So a couple of kind of new faces for the Brewster Whitecaps towards the end of the game, but that's how the script is set. However, we saw yesterday Jamie Shevchik have a script and then got kind of thrown out there by the end of the game, so who knows how that will happen. And then as for the Harwich Mariners, it's going to be Logan Browning, but Tyler Baum, as you mentioned, is going to probably come in at the end of this game or towards the middle and potentially finish it out. We're not really sure, but typically a starter and a good starter in that for the Mariners.
Yeah, kind of a strange way that Steve Englert has been handling his pitching staff for the Mariners. They've had real troubles with their bullpen all season long, and they've decided, well, let's just have the starters pitch at the end of the game and start off with the relievers. So Browning will be pitching the first few innings, and then Baum will, as you said, maybe finish things out. What do you think of that decision from the Mariners coaching staff to kind of flip the script a little bit?
I mean, I think it can work in certain situations. I guess it's at this point, I think with the Mariners, they were just trying to do something different because they were struggling a lot. And these are guys that at school, some of them are starters and they come here and there in relief and vice versa. So they're used to being thrown out there in all different positions. And there's something to be said about getting experience as a starter and as a reliever because you never know what you're going to be if you want to go pro. So I totally understand that. And, we'll see how it plays out today for the Mariners.
And there's a lot of mindset involved in that. I mean, this is something, if you went up to a major league pitcher and told him to do this, you would say absolutely not. But for these young college players, like you said, it needs to be a little bit more versatile. And it reminds me of what Tony Losi was saying when he was talking to Aiden after the ball game yesterday. Losi, according to that script that Jamie Shevchik had laid out, he was only going to go 2 innings. He came in, he pitched 2 perfect frames, and that was the end of his day. And later he said, I was thinking I was going to go 9. I was thinking I was going to have a complete game. Do you think that that's something that Tyler Baum has to think and then all these guys have to put together to make this sort of flipped script work?
I think as a reliever, you come into the game with a totally different mindset because you don't have a lot of room for error. You might only be out there for 2 innings, so you have to come in ready to go. Whereas we've said this so many times about Whitecaps or pitchers they're facing. They'll come in and the starters will settle in eventually, but they have more time for that. However, they do have to stretch out that period. So, yeah, it's a totally different game. And so, as Tony Losi told us, your mindset changes when you're going, 2 innings. But you have to approach it like you're going 9. So, I don't know. I'm not a pitcher, but it should be interesting to see how this works. And I think it's an interesting decision by the Harwich staff.
And for a team that doesn't have a lot to lose as well, Harwich at the bottom of the standings right now in the Eastern Division. They're the only team that isn't caught up in some type of playoff chaos as Orleans right now is in first in this division. They are 27-15. But just 1 point behind them are the YD Red Sox at 26-15-1, and then Brewster and Chatham are dead even for the 3 spot at 42 points apiece. Chatham does have the tiebreaker over the Whitecaps. Coach Jamie Shevchik has said he doesn't care who his team plays. He's just happy they're there, and he wants to make waves once they are matched up in the playoffs. But taking a look at this, using the crystal ball a little bit, how do you see this playing out in the Eastern Division, Maura?
It's very hard to say. I do think that Chatham having to play Orleans twice in a row to end their season, that's a tough matchup for them, whereas with the Whitecaps playing Harwich, potentially a bit of an easier matchup, although, not easy by any stretch, but I do think that's a tough draw for Chatham, but Chatham's been heating up recently at the right time, and Orleans, as we saw yesterday, had a little bit of defensive struggles, maybe looking ahead to the playoffs and not really focused on finishing the end of the year, so it's going to be a complete, we could see YD in first, Brewster in third. I mean, we could see this totally change by the last game of the season.
And it seems interesting because for the pretty much the whole season coming into this, it looked like Orleans and YD were the cream of the crop, and then Brewster and Chatham were kind of the next step down. And now it seems like, you mentioned Chatham is heating up, Brewster is heating up. I mean, the Whitecaps have won 4 of their last 5. It seems like that gap is closing. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, Chatham beat YD yesterday. Brewster's beat both YD and Orleans in the past couple of days. So these are teams that Chatham, we saw them last year kind of, as Shevchik said, back into the playoffs and then make it to the second round. So anything can happen. It's playoff baseball.
Yeah, it'll make for exciting playoff baseball. It's time for the national anthem here. We'll be back after this on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Well, after the national anthem and a couple excellent ceremonial first pitches by some young Mariners fans, Logan Browning is starting to take his warm-up pitches, and we're just about ready for some baseball. I was all set to give you the game time weather and talk about how it was hot. Brewster didn't take IO today because it was hot. It was maybe 78, 80 degrees when the Whitecaps were getting ready before the game, but the sun just went behind a cloud. And so it's kind of nice and cool and ready for some baseball. And of course, with the night games under the lights here at White House Field, we should have a nice cool game and good conditions for this ball game. The numbers so far this season for Logan Browning, as we mentioned, he has been primarily a reliever for the Mariners. They're kind of flipping the script, doing the bullpen guys first, and then the typical starter, Tyler Baum, will be going after he's finished. Browning so far this year, this is appearance number 8 for him, all but one of those out of the pen. He has a 5.40 ERA on the year. Only thrown 10 innings pitched in those 7 appearances up to this point. Does have 1 start. 13 hits allowed in those 10 frames. He has walked 3 and struck out 6. He's got a fastball in the mid to high 80s, and a curveball will be his primary off-speed pitch. And so for Brewster, what do you think the Whitecaps should be doing in terms of offensive approach? I mean, Jamie Shevchik is probably looking at this more as how his team is looking going into the playoffs and more maybe an individual level than it is as the team as a whole. So what should Whitecaps fans look out for to know that the team is having a successful game tonight?
Well, I think this is a bit of a tune-up game for some of the starters, as Aiden was telling us. These are the guys that are, some of them potentially starting in the playoffs, and so I think for guys like Mickey Gasper, Chandler Taylor, Julian Infante, who have been on the bench a lot recently, this is kind of get back into the swing of things kind of game for them, as they look ahead to the playoffs starting August 5th.
All right, and we are just about ready to get things started. Again, it'll be Nick Dunn, Chandler Taylor, and Mickey Gasper leading things off for the Whitecaps here in the top of the first in Harwich. Brewster at 20-20-2, Harwich at 14-27-1. And we are ready for baseball here at White House Field. Here comes the first pitch from Browning, and the lefty Dunn takes it for a called strike from Brian Troop, the home plate umpire. He's joined by John Patala at first base, and Mark Piandadosi is the third base ump today. Here comes the 0-1. It misses just low below the knees, so the count is 1-1 strike on Nick Dunn. Dunn has brought his average up to .342 on the year, a .424 on base percentage. He's hit safely in 17 straight. The 1-1 pitch is an off-speed pitch that is in there for a called strike. Dunn thought it might have been a little high and tight for his liking, but Brian Troop gives the strike call, and the count is 1-2 strikes. Working quickly is Browning. Here comes the pitch. It's fouled away toward the left side. Dunn just kind of stuck the barrel of the bat out, did a good job to spoil that off-speed pitch. And so the count remains 1-2 strikes on Nick Dunn. Browning, a rising senior from Florida Southern College. Here comes the 1-2. Hit on the ground, through the middle, moving over to his right is the second baseman Vance. He picks it up on a couple of hops and throws to first for out number 1. Kobe Vance, a smooth-handed second baseman for the Harwich Mariners. Let's get you set on the rest of Harwich's defense in this ball game. Vance, as we mentioned, is at second. Max Burt is at first base. Smith is the third baseman. India is at short. D'Alessandro does the catching. And in the outfield left to right, it's Vierling, Duplantis, and McCarthy out there for Harwich. So after the ground ball from Dunn, it's now Chandler Taylor's turn. Just underway here in the top of the first. No score between Brewster and the Mariners. Here comes the pitch to Taylor. It misses up high to make the count 1-0 strikes. The Whitecaps and Mariners in their traditional unis, given the situation. Brewster's wearing their teal road uniforms with Brewster written across the front in white. 1-0 pitch. Misses low, so it's 2 strikes on Taylor. And Harwich is wearing their lovely cream ensemble for this ball game with red trim and Mariners written across the front in red and blue. Here comes the 2-0 offering. Cut on and missed. Out in front of that one was Chandler Taylor. Plenty of off-speed stuff early on from Logan Browning in the first couple of hitters that he's faced. Taylor with 9 home runs on the season, best in the Cape League. He's got 25 runs driven in, hitting .236, but 23 walks have his OBP up to .382. 2-1 pitch. Just misses inside. So behind him, a count 3-1 is the hurler Logan Browning. Browning staring in, gets the sign from D'Alessandro. Here's the pitch. It's hit on the ground, right side. Charging is the second baseman, Vance. He will scoop it up and throw to first base in time for the out. The first baseman, Max Burt, went in a couple of steps to see if he could get it, but Vance waved him away, and Burt was able to head back to first base. And so 4-3 putouts begin this ball game. 2 quick outs here in the top of the first. Browning is working like a reliever here. He's pitching like he's got his oven on at home right now. Mickey Gasper will dig in for the Whitecaps. Gasper back in the lineup at the DH position. And he's a switch hitter batting from the right side. The pitch is in there for a called strike up at the letters on the fastball to make the count 0-1 on Gasper. Gasper, of course, a no-brainer playoff starter, so he's been getting a lot of rest these past few days. 0-1 pitch skips in front of the catcher, D'Alessandro, and so that evens the count up. 1 strike. That one hit the dirt right in front of home plate. An off-speed offering from Logan Browning. So the count 1 strike on Mickey Gasper. Here comes the pitch. It's hit hard into right center field. Moving to his left is the center fielder Duplantis. He's still heading back. Now he's under it, and he makes the catch to retire the side. There's plenty of room. 400 out to straightaway center here in Harwich for Duplantis to roam about there. So it's a quick 1-2-3 top of the first inning. Dunn, Taylor, and Gasper go down in order for the Whitecaps. At the end of the half, it's Brewster nothing, Mariners coming to bat. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. We welcome you back to White House Field. Brewster went down in order in the top of the first frame, so we are scoreless as we head to the bottom half of inning number 1. And Paulie Milto is taking his warm-up pitches for Brewster. As we mentioned in the pregame show, it's looking like it's going to be 2 or 3 innings for Paulie Milto. He and Bradley Spooner will kind of be splitting the starters' duties. Jamie Shevchik has them penciled in for 5 innings between them. So far this year for Paulie Milto, this is appearance number 11 and start number 4. He's got a 4.94 ERA in 27 1/3. He's walked 11 in those 27 1/3 innings pitched and given up 20 strikeouts in that 27 1/3. Duplantis, McCarthy, and India, the 3 due up to start the bottom of the first inning for the Harwich Mariners. Duplantis hitting from the left side. Here comes the first pitch from the righty Milto. It's lifted high in the air toward left field. Marty Costas moving to his right, heading toward the foul line. He makes the catch on the run. Had to reach a bit up above his head to grab that baseball, but did pull it down. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Milto. We'll get you set on the Brewster Whitecaps defense tonight. Costas, as we mentioned, is out in left. Hunter Bishop is in center. Chandler Taylor is in right field. And in the infield, third to first, Malfetta is at third base. AJ Graffinino back at shortstop. Nick Dunn is suiting up at second base. Julian Infante is at first. And Michael Curry will be doing the catching for the Brewster Whitecaps. So here is Jake McCarthy, the Team USA alumnus. First time that he has dug in against the Whitecaps this year. Pitch to the lefty is fouled away. Another first pitch swinging here for Harwich. Pushed it over toward the left side, over toward the Mariners' dugout out there on the third base side. So the count is 0-1 on McCarthy. McCarthy has been red hot since he arrived with the Harwich Mariners on July 23rd. Got a .348 average, .400 on base percentage. The 0-1 pitch misses low to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For McCarthy, this will be his 8th game in a Mariners uniform. He's from the University of Virginia, a Cavalier or a Wahoo, depending on how you're feeling. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's grooved in there for strike number 2. We're in the bottom of inning number 1, no score yet here at White House Field in Harwich. Mariners and Whitecaps just underway on a gorgeous evening for baseball. We really have had a run on just terrific weather for Whitecaps games and for all the ball games here on the Cape these past few days. Here comes the 1-2. Check swing on a pitch that was low. They appealed to third, and he did go around, says Mark Piantadosi. So that evens the count, 2 balls. Nope, that's going to send him away. So that's strike number 3. First strikeout for Paulie Milto. Just half swing there from Jake McCarthy. He kind of lingered in the batter's box a little bit. Wasn't a fan of the call from third base. But in any case, there are 2 men out, and now here comes Jonathan India. India slotted in at shortstop today for the Harwich Mariners. Here comes the pitch to the right-hander. It's grooved in there for strike number 1. Count no balls and 1 strikes on India. India hitting .274, a .397 on base percentage, 1 home run and 3 ribbies this year. This is his 19th game. The 0-1 pitch is in there for a called strike 2. So 0-2 is the count on India. So far, been a nice quick game. Have yet to see a base runner in this scoreless affair. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's swung and lifted high in the air toward right center. Chandler Taylor lost it in the sun for a moment, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. Heading into second base is India. He slides head first and will be safe at second. Chandler Taylor just lost that baseball in the sun. It was heading toward right center field. He was shading his eyes. It is very sunny, especially out in right field here at White House Field. And it's going to be a double in the book, I do believe, for Jonathan India.
Yeah, that was still a hard-hit baseball. And you can see right now Hunter Bishop giving Chandler Taylor his sunglasses over there and right. I mean, it's still very sunny in center field, I guess. Chandler Taylor just in need as, yeah, you could see him shielding it with his glove. So that's a tough first base runner for the Brewster Whitecaps.
He kind of froze and straightaway right. It landed a couple of feet to his right, and he fielded it off the wall. The first pitch misses outside to the lefty, swinging Josh Smith, the third baseman today for the Mariners. It is indeed a double for India, so he is aboard second base with 2 men out. And Milto holds the set. Here comes the 1-0. It skips in front of the catcher Curry, who loses it, and heading over to third base safely is Jonathan India. That'll be a wild pitch on Milto. It went about 59 feet, and Curry just whacked it off of his chest protector there. Couldn't quite corral the baseball, so now it's a runner on third base via a couple of miscues for the Whitecaps. The loss of the ball in the sun from Taylor and the wild pitch from Milto. That's a very good move from Hunter Bishop. A good teammate to get him his sunglasses out there. He did just run out of that immediately after that play. 2-0 pitches a fastball in there for a called strike at the knees to Josh Smith. So the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Smith hitting .348 on the year for Harwich, a .444 on base percentage, 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. 2-1 is grooved in there for strike number 2. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Milto is notorious for throwing whatever he wants regardless of the count. He's one of those guys who can sometimes pitch backwards, starts folks off with breaking stuff, and then put him away with the fastball. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Misses up high, so the count is full 3-2 with 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the first inning. No score yet, but the Mariners are knocking at the door with India aboard third base. Nick D'Alessandro, the catcher, is on deck for Harwich right now. And here comes the payoff pitch. It's hit high in the air toward left field. Coming in is Marty Costas. His hat flies off. He now camps underneath it and makes the catch for out number 3. So no harm, no foul with the miscues in the field for the Brewster Whitecaps. Costas grabs his hat and will head into the dugout. No runs, a hit, and 1 runner left on for the Mariners here in the bottom of the first. At the end of 1, we're scoreless in Harwich. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. It'll be Marty Costas, Hunter Bishop, and Julian Infante to lead things off for the Whitecaps. Here in the top of the second inning. We're scoreless as we start the top of the second in Harwich. Logan Browning is ready. Here's the first pitch to Marty Costas. And the righty takes it up and away to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Whitecaps went down in order in the first, so Costas, the cleanup hitter, is beginning the proceedings in the top of the second. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It, too, misses up high, so the count 2 balls and no strikes on Costas. Costas has really gotten his batting average up in the last few games that he's had for the Whitecaps, all the way up to 302, and he hits the next pitch high in the air into shallow right field. Coming back is the second baseman Vance, and he loses it. It's off his glove and it drops, and Costas is sliding into second head first. He gets there safely. It looked like the sun played a role in that play as well. Kobe Vance was calling for it, but you could tell he didn't quite have a beat on it, and it was just out of his reach, reached behind him, and bounced off of his glove to the grass. We'll see how they score that. It is going to be an error on Kobe Vance to allow Marty Costas to come in. Vance usually a very good defensive second baseman, but the miscue there. And so the Whitecaps have a leadoff man in scoring position who can run here.
Yeah, we've seen 2 Alabama players in this game get kind of caught up in the sun, as Kobe Vance and Chandler Taylor are teammates at Alabama. So a bit interesting there, as
the first pitch to the lefty Hunter Bishop is cut on and missed for strike 1. And Kobe Vance is sporting sunglasses right now, unlike Chandler Taylor, but still unable to pick it out. That's when you know the sun is particularly bad. But maybe in an inning or two, it'll kind of go by the wayside. 0-1 the count on Bishop. Casas aboard second base. The pitch is bunted. A drag bunt down the right side. What a play by Browning to reach it and grab it with the glove hand. He flips to first base for the out. A terrific play from Logan Browning, just running off the mound quickly and grabbing that one with his glove hand, backhanding the baseball. And despite catching the defense napping, Hunter Bishop is retired. It does move the runner over to third, so that'll be scored as a sacrifice bunt for Hunter Bishop. It's a man on third and 1 out with Julian Infante digging in. That was a terrific play by Browning to just scamper off the mound as soon as he saw what was going on. We have seen Hunter Bishop try that drag bunt a couple of times past few games, maybe trying it out with the playoffs in mind. Here's the pitch to the righty, Infante. It misses down and in. A nice job to glove it by D'Alessandro, the catcher, reaching out to his left and kind of smothering the baseball. So 1-0 is the count on Infante, who's hitting .250 on the year with the Whitecaps, a .304 on base percentage, 1 home run, and 12 runs batted in. Browning holds the set. Here comes the 1-0. A half swung at it, and he will go around, so says Brian Troop. It was a pitch that was low. Infante kind of got caught out in front of it. So 1 ball and 1 strike the count on the Vanderbilt Commodore. Casas aboard third base, 1 out. We are in the top of inning number 2. And I've yet to see a run come across in this ball game so far. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Caught on and missed. Again out in front of that one was Julian Infante. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now you wonder when Logan Browning will be pulling the trigger on the heater here. Browning staring in. He was a two-way player at Florida Southern College, was Browning. Also hit .380 in 39 games for them. Had a .395 ERA on the mound this past spring. 1-2 pitch coming. It's in there for a called strike 3. Infante didn't like the call. He thought it was up and in, but he is rung up by Brian Troop behind the plate. First strikeout of the ball game for Browning, and there are 2 gone here in the top of the second. Brian Troop does have a strike zone that is known to be a tad larger than some of the other umps you'll find on the Cape. And Infante falling victim there. We'll see how the players can adjust in this ball game. Michael Curry will dig in now for Brewster, hitting 7th in Jamie Shevchik's order tonight and being behind the plate. Big spot for him, runner on third and 2 men out. The pitch to the right-handed hitter. Misses just off the plate on the outer edge. So 1 ball and no strikes to count on Curry. Curry, as I mentioned in the pregame, has done a terrific job of getting on base when he has been in the lineup this year for Brewster. A .434 on base percentage. 1-0 pitch coming. Misses just outside once more, so 2-0 is the count on the man from Georgia, the Bulldog out of the SEC. A lot of SEC flavor in this ball game. Harwich has Kobe Vance from Alabama, a couple of players from LSU. Brewster's got 2 Georgia Bulldogs. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Off-speed pitch in there for a called strike at the knees. So the count is 2-1. We are in the top of the second inning. No score here at White House Field. Marty Costas on third base with 2 men out. Costas got on by an error by the second baseman Kobe Vance. Dropped a pop-up when he lost it in the sun. 2-1 pitch. Broken bat looper into center field. That one's going to drop in there for a base hit. Marty Costas will come in to score from third. Michael Curry has his 13th run driven in of the season. And the Whitecaps have a 1-0 lead here in the second.
Yeah, once again, as you mentioned, Michael Curry just doing his job. He's just been so great for the Whitecaps this season offensively, just coming in, doing what he needs to do in so many situations, and once again, just bringing Marty Costas home for the first run of this game.
And now it is Christian Malfetta's turn. The right-hander out of Stanford University, digging in from the right side for Brewster. Malfetta is on a bit of a streak of his own. He's got 3 straight games with a run batted in for the Whitecaps. Had a ribby single yesterday. The pitch misses just low. Make the count 1-0. Whitecaps were winners against the Orleans Firebirds yesterday, 6-2. They've now beaten Orleans and YD in back-to-back games, the 2 teams that are fighting for the top seed in the East Division playoffs. Runner on first base, 2 men out. Here comes the pitch. It's cut on and missed for strike number 1. 1-1 the count on Malfetta. When last these 2 teams met, it was that 11-10 thriller. That victory for Brewster. They were down 10-2 at the 7th inning stretch, and it was Logan Browning, the man on the mound right now, who gave up the game-winning homer to Marty Costas. 1-1 pitch. Misses low, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike on Christian Malfetta. Good eye there as that was right near the knees. Count 2-1. The It's 1-0 Whitecaps here, top of the second inning. Curry aboard first base with 2 gone. Here comes a 2-1 offering from Browning. It's in there for a called strike 2. Nice frame behind the plate from D'Alessandro. Pulled that one back up into the strike zone. It was, again, toward the lower half of the zone. And here comes the 2-2 offering from Logan Browning. Here it comes. Cut on and miss for strike 3. Foul tipped that one into the glove of D'Alessandro, did Christian Malfetta. So a pair of strikeouts in this frame for Logan Browning, but he does surrender an unearned run. 1 run for Brewster on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. At the end of an inning and a half here in Harwich, it's 1-0 Whitecaps. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. Whitecaps ahead 1-0 as we start the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Nick D'Alessandro, Kobe Vance, and Jordan Verdon, the 3 that are due up against Paulie Milto here in the bottom of the second inning. And D'Alessandro is digging in from the right side. Here comes the first pitch to him. It's fouled away toward the left side. Another first pitch swinging for Harwich. We've seen that with a few of their batters. Both teams have been pretty aggressive early on in at-bats so far in this ball game. Milto staring in the count. No balls and 1 strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It misses down and away. Brewster got the only run of this ball game on a Michael Curry RBI single. Brought home Marty Costas, who reached on an error. So it's an unearned run in the book to Logan Browning. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Curry for strike number 2. Just right on top of that one was D'Alessandro, who's hitting .272 on the year, a .368 on base percentage. No home runs, 13 runs batted in for him. 1-2 pitch. Misses up and away, so the count is 2-2. Looks like the inner part of the zone might be a little bit more forgiving toward the pitcher for Brian Troop, our home plate ump today, as opposed to the outside edge. Waiting on a 2-2 from Milto. Here it comes. Called strike 3, inside corner. So Troop does ring him up when he goes on the inside part of the plate. It's the second strikeout for Milto, the first one where he has gotten a batter looking, and the first out of the bottom of the second.
Number 3, the second baseman from Alabama, Kobe.
And so here comes Kobe Vance, the man from Alabama. Vance was the one who committed the error, lost a pop fly in the sun that allowed Costas to reach in the top of the second inning. He's hitting .273 on the year, a .333 on base percentage. No homers, but 19 ribbies for Kobe Vance. First pitch to the righty is hit high in the air but foul, tailing down the right field line over the heads of the folks in the Brewster bullpen. So the count 0-1 on Vance. Vance was selected to the Cape League All-Star game over at Wareham. What a spectacle that was. That place all filled up. 7,200 people were there. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It misses high and tight to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Vance. Vance is originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's a graduate of Pine Forest High School. And here comes the 1-1 offering to him. Cut on and missed. Took a big rip at that one. It was a breaking ball up high, but it was, I think he swung underneath that pitch, did Kobe Vance. Vance is a yellow ribbon scholar. That's the scholarship that he has at Alabama. His dad was in the military. 1-2 pitch coming along. It's fouled back to the screen. A 16th round draft pick was the man from Alabama. Brewster is ahead in this ball game. It's 1-0 Whitecaps as we stand here in the bottom of the second inning. Just one hit for either side. 1-2 pitch, grounded foul. So Vance will keep things alive. Harwich is a team that likes to swing and they like to foul off pitches. We've seen them have some lengthy contests with the Whitecaps earlier this season. They haven't won a game against Brewster this year, but they have been able to make their starters work. Kind of maybe make them, in this case with a scripted game, maybe throw a little bit more pitches than they would like. 1-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. In fact, over the screen and whizzing by the merchandise stand. So the count is still 1-2 strikes on Kobe Vance. So Milto, the rising junior from Greenwood, Indiana, will have to once again reset and try and get Vance, who's being very tough to put away here in this at-bat. Here comes the 1-2 offering, righty to righty. Just misses down and away. Michael Curry did his best to frame it, but no dice for the home plate umpire, Brian Troop. 2-2 is the count on Vance. Milto staring in. Gets the sign that he wants from Michael Curry. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's lifted in the air toward right field, heading toward the foul line, and that one will land just foul. Maybe a foot or two foul, just kind of looped that one over, and Chandler Taylor was hustling over to get to it. But first base ump John Patala ruled it a foul ball. The sun here that Chandler Taylor had to deal with earlier in this ball game has almost retreated from view. Nearly the entire field is in shade. Does look like Taylor in right field has maybe a little bit to deal with, but certainly is not the menacing orb that it was in the first frame and heading into the second. 2-2 is the count. And here comes the pitch to Vance. Fouled away, left side, and we will keep this at-bat going. A terrific at-bat from Kobe Vance. That was the 9th pitch of this at-bat.
Yeah, and the way Kobe Vance is working in this at-bat, it kind of reminds me of the July 4th game. That game went almost 4 hours, and that's how it went almost 4 hours. Just a bunch of foul balls, and each guy in the Whitecaps and the Mariners working.
2-2 pitch is a high fly ball toward the right side of the infield. It's in foul ground, and Fonte is underneath at the first baseman, and he makes the play for out number 2. So Kobe Vance keeps hitting foul balls until the end of the at-bat, but that one was gloved by Infante for out number 2. And yeah, that July 4th game, quite the odyssey. Brewster wound up winning that game by a run late. But it was certainly, you know, it was such a festive atmosphere when we got here. They had the bunting on the outfield walls. The place was packed. By the end of that game, we were hearing fireworks going off beyond the outfield wall. It was 9 o'clock at night. Pitch to the lefty misses low to Jordan Verdon. Lefty hitter. Verdon's hitting .211 on the season, a .259 OBP for the Mariners. He's the DH for Steve Englert's team tonight. And he hits the next pitch on the ground toward the left side. It's backhanded by the shortstop Graffinino. He throws across his body in time to retire the side. So it's a 1-2-3 frame. Took considerably longer than the 1-2-3 frame we saw for Brewster in the first, but it is a 1-2-3 inning for Paulie Milto. The Harwich Mariners go down in order at the end of 2 innings of play. Whitecaps still ahead 1-0. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. Welcome back to Harwich, where the Whitecaps lead 1-0 after 2 innings of play. It'll be 9-1-2 for Brewster to lead off the top of the third, starting with lefty hitter A.J. Graffinino. And the first pitch from Logan Browning is hit hard on the ground to the right side. The second baseman Vance scoops it up and throws to first for the out. As routine a grounder as you can get, it was right to where Kobe Vance was positioned. So Graffinino grounds out 4-3 on the first pitch, and that's out number 1 of the third.
The Whitecaps are really making Kobe Vance work, though. We saw 2 4-3 groundouts to start this game and just had another one with A.J. Graffinino, and then we saw that pop fly in which Vance had the error. So 4 balls to him pretty quickly here in this game.
Here is Nick Dunn hitting from the left side. Dunn grounded out his first time. Here's the pitch to the Maryland Terrapin. It's a breaking ball that misses up high. Didn't quite have quite enough bite to it. Tyler Baum is warming in the bullpen right now for the Mariners. A starter by trade, but going to be a reliever today. 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike at the knees to make the count 1-1. If you weren't with us, Harwich is flipping the script. They're having the reliever come out for the first 2 or 3 innings, and then the starter going hopefully the rest of the way for them. 1-1 pitch misses inside, so the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Nick Dunn, of course, still working on that 17-game hitting streak. He extended it with an RBI infield hit yesterday. Added another one for good measure later on. 2-1 pitch misses low. Make the count 3 balls and 1 strike on Nick Dunn. And as you might expect, the Whitecaps dugout has made it very quiet. Nope, don't want to jinx anything. They hardly even say his name in the dugout. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's fouled back to the screen. Dunn really took a rip at that one, but just got a piece, so the count is full. Dunn has raised his average to 342 and his on-base percentage to 424. Almost 100 points of improvement in both of those categories since the streak began. The 3-2 pitch skips low in the dirt, so Nick Dunn works a walk. And the Whitecaps have a man on first base with 1 man out and Chandler Taylor digging in. Taylor, of course, with plenty of power. He had one of those 4-3 ground balls you were talking about to Kobe Vance more earlier in this game, his first time up. Nick Dunn does have some speed to him. He's 3 out of 5 this year, stealing bases for the Whitecaps. Most recently, he had a stolen base back on Sunday in the 5th inning of that game against YD. Taylor, a left-handed hitter. Here comes the pitch from a lefty, Browning. It misses low to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Browning stares in. It's 1-0 Whitecaps here in the top of the third. Here comes the pitch to Taylor. It's fouled back to the screen. Took a big swing at that one, did Chandler Taylor, and came up cringing just a little bit. Make the count 1-1. Taylor's one of those guys, when he takes a big swing, you know it. He's got such tremendous power. And that time he was thinking pulling that one over the right field wall. Has yet to get in double digits with homers. He's got 9 on the year. Browning, here comes the 1-1, and time is called during Browning's delivery. As Chandler Taylor requested time from Brian Troop, and Troop chose to grant it while Browning was in the motion. Had to abort mission there on the mound. So 1-1 still the count on Chandler Taylor. And here comes the pitch. Breaking ball in there for strike number 2. Well located there from Browning toward the inside part of the plate at the knees. Chandler Taylor didn't think it was well located. He had a couple of words for home plate ump Brian Troop after the pitch came in, but now we'll stand in and wait for the 1-2 pitch. Here comes the pitch from Browning. It's hit high in the air, foul ground left field line, and will tail out of play over everything. That one had some distance to it off the bat of Taylor pushed the other way. Tells you how strong Chandler Taylor is. Hardly got anything of that baseball, but still managed to push that one maybe a good 300 feet out there in left field. 1-2 is the count. Holding the set is the lefty Logan Browning. Here comes the pitch. It misses low. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Chandler Taylor. The Whitecaps are ahead 1-0 here in the top of the third with Nick Dunn on first base via the walk and 1 man out. Brewster is trying to move to 5-0 against Harwich this season. They've never been undefeated against Harwich in their club's history. 4-0 already, which is already a record. 2-2 pitch. Misses low, just below the knees. On an off-speed offering. So the count full now on Chandler Taylor, who's doing a good job working Logan Browning like few other Whitecaps have early on in this ball game. Browning holds the set, ready to deliver the 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. It misses up high for ball 4. So back-to-back walks for Logan Browning to the top 2 hitters in the Brewster Whitecaps lineup. And now the dangerous Mickey Gasper will dig in. Gasper, his first time up, flew out to center field. Was honored before the game last night, was named the best Cape League player from New England. He's from New Hampshire originally, goes to Bryant University. Average was .297 coming into this year in this ball game. 2 on and 1 out for Gasper. Browning holds the set. Checks the runner at second base. Checks him one more time. Here comes the pitch. It's in there for a called strike on a fastball. To make the count 0-1. Browning is taking considerably longer between pitches when he's working out of the stretch compared to out of the windup. It was a lightning quick first inning when he was on the mound and got the Whitecaps down in order. Browning now comes set once more and again stares down Nick Dunn. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Misses down and into Gasper, who's sitting from the right side against the lefty pitcher. Is the switch hitter. 1-1 the count on Mickey Gasper. As we mentioned, Brewster and Chatham are neck and neck in the playoff picture right now for the 3 seed, but Chatham has the tiebreaker, and that isn't going to change. They're even in head-to-head, but Chatham's going to have a better interdivision record no matter what the Whitecaps do. 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air toward right center field. Moving over to his left is the center fielder Duplantis. He calls off the right fielder McCarthy and makes the grab for out number 2. Tagging from second and motoring into third is Nick Dunn. Got there standing up. First and third now with 2 men out after the fly ball from Gasper moves Dunn over.
Number 42.
Gasper really put a drive into that one, got it high up. And now here comes Marty Costas, who has scored the only run of this game. It's 1-0 Brewster here in the top of the third. Reached on an error when Kobe Vance, the second baseman for Harwich, dropped a pop fly that he lost in the sunshine. Came in to score on a Michael Curry ribby single. And so it will be Costas versus Browning here, with first and third and 2 men out. Runner going for second. The pitch is in there for a called strike. Throw down to second base is in time. They got him. A terrific throw from Nick D'Alessandro. Chandler Taylor got a pretty decent jump, but an excellent strike there from D'Alessandro down to second base. Catches him stealing. That is the 5th time this year that Chandler Taylor has been caught stealing in 13 attempts for the Brewster Whitecaps. So the Whitecaps failed to score in the third. No runs, no hits, 1 left for Brewster in the top of the third inning. At the end of 2.5, it's 1-0 Whitecaps on top. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
We welcome you back to White House Field in Harwich. We're starting the bottom of the third, and Brewster is ahead 1-0. Matt Vierling will start the proceedings for Harwich. His first at-bat of this ball game, and the righty hits the first pitch high in the air, a mile-high pop fly into shallow left field. Coming in is the left fielder Marty Costas, and he will make the play, waving off the shortstop Graffinino. So another first pitch out that Paulie Milto was able to get for the Whitecaps, and that's out number 1 of the bottom of the third. Milto has retired 5 in a row.
Number 36, the first baseman.
That'll bring up
from
Max
Northeastern,
Burt,
Max
the man
Burt,
from
excuse me.
Northeastern University. It was Vierling, Burt, and Antoine Duplantis, the men due up for Steve Englert's club in this bottom of the third frame. Here comes the pitch to the right-handed hitter, and Burt takes a strike. Looked like that was on the outer half of the plate to Burt, who is hitting .211 on the year with a .262 OBP, 1 home run, and 4 ribbies. For Burt, here comes the 0-1. It misses down and in to make the count 1-1. Burt and Steve Englert have a connection. Steve Englert was a volunteer assistant coach at Northeastern while Max Burt was there. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's hit hard, a looper into left. No, it's going to be caught by Graffinino, the shortstop. We're out number 2, just a little looper. Graffinino took maybe 2 or 3 steps to his left and grabbed it for the second out. So a couple little soft contact plays toward the left side, and that's the second out of the bottom of the third.
Number 7, the center fielder from LSU, Antoine.
So now it's Antoine Duplantis' turn. Back to the top of the order for the Mariners. Just 1 base runner in this ball game for Harwich, and it came on a defensive misplay for Brewster. Here's the first pitch to the lefty Duplantis, and it's in there for a called strike to make the count 0-1. That base runner came in on what was scored a double, but it was when Chandler Taylor lost a baseball that was hit right at him, lost it in the sun. And India, the man who hit it, was stranded on third base after the inning. A 1 pitch is in there for another called strike. Another off-speed pitch from Paulie Milto, who so far looks right at home on the mound. Milto loves to get a lot of outs on the ground. Only has just the 1 ground ball out in this ball game, but it's gotten a lot of soft contact, gotten a couple of pop flies. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It misses down and away to the lefty, so the count is 1-2 on Antoine Duplantis. Duplantis, one of a few additions to this Harwich team in recent weeks, the past month. 1-2 pitches into the ground, foul. Right side, he's from LSU, is Duplantis, a rising junior, originally from Lafayette, Louisiana. Duplantis this spring was the very last recruit for their 2016 roster when they were putting it all together 2 springs ago. 1-2 is the count. Here's the pitch. It's fouled away toward the left side, so it's still 1-2. Wound up getting on that LSU team and had a terrific year for them last year in his sophomore season. Hit .316 with a .358 on base percentage and was 19 out of 23 stealing bases. Has terrific speed in the outfield, can cover plenty of ground out in center, which we've seen a little bit of tonight. 1-2 the count on Duplantis. Milto still staring in to get the sign from Curry, and now he's ready. 1-2 pitch. Hit hard on the ground right side, backhanded by the first baseman Infante, who underhands it to Milto for out number 3. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Paulie Milto, who now has retired 7 on the string for Brewster, and 9 out of the 10 batters that he has faced in his third innings. If he is finished after this, it's a terrific outing for him. At the end of 3 innings of play, the Whitecaps still lead 1-0. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Welcome back to White House Field. As expected, Logan Browning's day is done on the mound for the Harwich Mariners, and it's going to be Tyler Baum taking over for Harwich, and he'll face Marty Costas, who had to face two new pitchers in the same at-bat, and in between two innings as Chandler Taylor, trying to steal second, was called out to end the third inning. So it's going to be Marty Costas once again, and Tyler Baum on the mound. Here comes the first pitch to Costas. This one hit high and foul. Straight behind him. Count's now 0-1 on Marty Costas, who scored the only run of this game to make this the 1-0 score that it is now. Brewster up on Harwich. Breaking ball in for a called strike. Counts now 0-2 on Costas. Tyler Baum replacing Logan Browning, as I mentioned before. Baum typically a starter for this Harwich team, but Mariners just mixing it up today as check swing from Costas. Did he go? And they will say no. So Marty Costas moves the count to 1-2. Here comes the 1-2. This one misses way high. Moves the count to 2-2. This is the final game at White House Field for the Mariners, and there is quite a bit of fans here tonight as the 2-2 is chopped softly to the third baseman, Smith, who grabs it and makes the throw just in time to get Marty Costas out to start this top of the fourth inning. That was a close call. Marty Costas does have some wheels, and that one was just chopped very softly, so Smith had to come charging in and make that out, but he does indeed make it, and there is one out in the top of the fourth for Hunter Bishop.
Yeah, that's getting a star in the old scorebook for me. A terrific play to take charge by Smith, the third baseman, and throw across his body. Marty Costas is not an easy guy to grab on a slow ground ball.
First pitch from Baum to Hunter Bishop misses up and away. Count now 1-0. Bishop had a sacrifice bunt in his first at-bat as the 1-0, a fastball that finds the strike zone. Count moves to 1-1. His bunt moved Marty Costas to third, but it was a nice play from Logan Browning that got Bishop out as he'll foul the next pitch on the left side. Counts now 1-2. And Browning just made a great play from the pitcher's mound, was able to run in and get Hunter Bishop out as Bishop did lay down a pretty good bunt on the first base line. The 1-2 from Baum just misses outside. Counts now 2-2 on Bishop. Bishop batting .217 on the year. Does have a homer to his name as the 2-2 once again misses. Runs the count full to the number 5 hitter for the Brewster Whitecaps today. We saw him in center field, his typical spot for Brewster. Here comes the payoff pitch. This one hit high on the left side. Moving is Vierling, getting under it in foul territory and making the grab for the second out is Matt Vierling. And Hunter Bishop goes down, and that's 2 outs now for Julian Infante.
And kind of just couldn't quite get around on that offering from Tyler Baum. This is a really big difference in stuff, going from Logan Browning, who's got a high 80s fastball, to Tyler Baum, who tops out at 94 and has a curveball like you wouldn't believe. It's going to be a big adjustment for these Whitecaps hitters to get a tough pitcher coming in as a reliever out of the pen. Very unusual the way Harwich is stacking their arms.
Here comes the pitch from Julian Infante, and a big swing and a miss from number 47 for the Whitecaps. Moves the count to 0-1. Tyler Baum has really been the ace of staff for this Harwich Mariners team. Was an all-star, and we just saw him get MVP of this Mariners team as this their last home game. A breaking ball just misses outside. Counts now 1-1 on Infante. Infante was the first strikeout victim of this game. Got a taste of Brian Troop's strike zone as he gets a piece of one and hits it to center field, moving, and that one will drop in front of Duplantis, the center fielder, for a base hit for the Brewster Whitecaps. The first base hit for Brewster today.
Well, it was a good job by Infante to just get the bat on the ball there. It didn't look like he was quite timing that offering from Tyler Baum right, but was able to lift it in into no man's land out toward center, right center, and is able to get on. Now we'll see if Michael Curry can do what he did last time, smack that RBI single his last time up.
So with Infante on first, Michael Curry at the plate. There is 2 outs. We're in the top of the 4th. First pitch from Baum. Inside. Just misses, counts 1-0. Baum holding the set. Here comes the 1-0. This one chopped on the third base side. Smith makes a grab, and a throw over to first is just way outside of the reach of Burt. And so Michael Curry will take second as that one went out of play. The throw from third was just a rocket of a throw, but not on target. And so Michael Curry will take second, and Julian Infante has now moved to third. So on that play, 2 runners now in scoring position for the Brewster Whitecaps, and now Christian Molfetta up to bat. We'll see how that's scored. Where the error comes from, you got to believe it's going to be on the third baseman, Josh Smith. Just a tough play there for the Harwich Mariners. We've seen a couple of those today, as we saw Kobe Vance make an error earlier in this game. The pitching staff has been doing very well for the Mariners, just some miscues on defense. Kind of uncharacteristic, as this Harwich team has been very good defensively. But now it's going to be Christian Molfetta's turn up to bat for Brewster, and as I know you mentioned, Carter, he has had 3 games in a row with an RBI in each of those games. As a first pitch from Baum, and Christian Molfetta hits one to first baseman Max Burt, who can't quite glove it, and Julian Infante will score on that play. So the score is now 2-0, Brewster up, as we'll see how that one scored. That was a hard hit baseball over to first. Max Burt tried to backhand that play and couldn't quite make it. So now Christian Molfetta on first. Michael Curry moves to third, so runners at the corners. Now a 2-0 game, Brewster up on Harwich, and AJ Graffinino, the number 9 hitter, up to bat.
That's an infield hit. More if the scoreboard is to be believed here in Harwich, and they gave Michael Curry an infield hit and then an error that moved him to second base as well. So far, it has not been a good day for the Harwich defense.
First pitch to AJ Graffinino, a fastball. Moves the count to 0-1. Finds a strike zone there. Graffinino now digging in again. Tyler Baum with the 0-1. This one tailing left and will be caught by Matt Vierling. A pop fly to left field ends the inning. But Brewster does score a run off of 2 hits, and they do leave 2 runners on, as we saw an error in this inning from the Harwich Mariners. The score is now Brewster 2, Harwich nothing. After 3.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
McCarthy, India, and Smith all due up for the Harwich Mariners. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Brewster leads Harwich 2-0. Just one defensive change to tell you about for Brewster. Christian Molfetta left the game, and Kyle Datris is replacing him over at third. Datris back in his typical spot for Brewster. We saw him play first yesterday for the Whitecaps, and Bradley Spooner on the mound, replacing Pauly Milto. First pitch from Spooner finds the strike zone, moves the count to 0-1. So I guess 2 changes for the Brewster defense. This was expected. Pauly Milto expected to go 3 innings, and the 0-1 again finds the strike zone for Bradley Spooner, moves the count to 0-2. And I was talking to Austin Straub before the game, and he said Spooner's going to go till the 5th inning. That's what's expected. As we know, those things can change. Here comes the 0-2. This one misses inside. Counts now 1-2. Jake McCarthy up to bat for the Harwich Mariners. Playing right field today for Harwich. Here comes the 1-2 from Spooner. This one hits the dirt before it crosses the plate. So the count's now 2-2 to the Virginia Cavalier. Played in 59 games. Every single game at Virginia this year. And really made a name for himself in terms of stealing bases. Stole 27 and was only picked off twice. So 27 for 29 as he will foul the next pitch on the third base line. Count remains 2-2. Jake McCarthy staying alive in this one. Spent some time with Team USA, teammate of Steele Walker, former Brewster Whitecap. The 2-2 from Spooner. This one again fouled hard on the third base side over the dugout of the Mariners. So this is kind of the game for the Harwich Mariners. They stay alive in counts. They make pitchers work and throw a lot of pitches. They like to foul things off. We saw Kobe Vance do it against Pauly Milto and really work for an out. Milto did eventually retire Vance. Here comes the 2-2. A breaking ball that misses high. Runs the count full. 3-2 on Jake McCarthy. Spooner now holding the set. And here comes the payoff pitch. And this one hit hard and will drop in left field. As Jake McCarthy is working to get a triple here, and he will slide down and indeed get into third base safely. Marty Costas, that one kind of bounced over his head over in left field, and Jake McCarthy able to work a triple. And now a runner 90 feet away for the Harwich Mariners.
That's a tough one for Marty Costas. I think he thought he had a chance to grab that ball out of the air, and once he realized that he was going to have to play it on a hop, he just couldn't quite play it properly. I don't know if he touched the baseball or not, but it headed straight past him. Did a great job to get the ball in, but not quite on target.
And the first pitch from India gets behind Michael Curry, and that will score the first run, as this is a huge backstop area for the Harwich Mariners. There's a lot of room behind the plate, and a run scores. Jake McCarthy sprinted in, and this is now a 2-1 game. We've seen that happen before here, as again, there's just a lot of room. That one squirts by him, and once again, another pitch squirts by Michael Curry, but there's nobody on. I guess that one foul tipped. Counts now 1-1 on India. Here comes the 1-1. Breaking ball, misses below the knees. Counts now 2-1.
Some good news from Michael Curry. They scored that a wild pitch. It was down and away. Probably could have made a play on it, have a glove on it, but it was a tough one to grab.
A swing and a miss from India. Moves the count to 3-1. We've seen 2 wild pitches for the Brewster Whitecaps, one from Pauly Milto and one from Bradley Spooner today. One a costly one that just made this a 2-1 game, as the next pitch from Spooner misses below the knees. Spooner shaking off a couple of signs from Curry, and here comes the payoff pitch. And that one a called strike, caught him looking, and Jonathan India goes down. Bradley Spooner gets his first strikeout of the game, and the first out here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Good for Spooner to bounce back. There's not a ton that he could do. He's still got the lead in his hands, and he's just got to focus on doing his job, getting it over to the next guy. It's kind of like a relay race. So they got to just pass the baton to the next pitcher on the script for Brewster and try and get the W here.
First pitch from Spooner, Josh Smith, fouled on the first base line. Counts 0-1 on Smith, who's over at third today. Seen him make a couple of one nice play over at third, and then had an error in the last inning as a breaking ball finds the strike zone for Bradley Spooner. Counts now 0-2. Here comes 0-2. This one bounces in the dirt again in front of Curry. So it's a ball. Counts now 1-2. In Spooner's last outing, it was on the road against Bourne. It was right after the Brewster Whitecaps had clinched a playoff spot, and Jamie Shevchik asked him to go 7 innings, and Spooner did just that. As hit hard on the first base line by Smith, Julian Infante can't quite make the play and then throws it over to Spooner just in time. Infante kind of bobbled it a little bit, wasn't sure if he was going to make the play, but he did. Bradley Spooner, a nice job there covering the bag. He was over there right in time. And so that is going to be now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, Spooner deserves a ton of credit for going over there, because that sort of ground ball is something that Infante typically handles well and typically will take to the bag himself. But Spooner, just in case, headed over to back him up and was able to get the out because of that. A great play.
First pitch to Nick D'Alessandro. Breaking ball below the knees. Counts now 1-0. On the catcher today for the Harwich Mariners. Here comes the 1-0. This one hit hard on the right field side and will tail just foul. And Chandler Taylor makes the grab in foul territory, and that will do it for this bottom of the 4th inning. 1 run does come through for the Harwich Mariners, so the score is now Brewster 2, Harwich 1. We're through 4 innings of play here at White House Field. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
It's the top of the 5th inning, and Brewster leads Harwich 2-1. Dunn, Taylor, and Gasper all due up for the Brewster Whitecaps, the very top of the order, as Tyler Baum with the first pitch, and that one just misses below Nick Dunn's knees. Count now 1-0. The Whitecaps Caps have 4 hits as Nick Dunn fouls one, and looks like this one will stay fair. A high pop fly, and shortstop John India gets under it, and Nick Dunn goes down for the second time today. He did work a walk in the 3rd inning.
Boy, you know, there isn't a ton of wind. What there is blowing out, but maybe that ball had some English or something, because I too thought that was going foul and then kind of tailed in toward fair territory. Kind of a strange hit off the bat of Dunn.
And now with 1 out, it's Chandler Taylor's turn. Again, Brewster up 2-1. Tyler Baum on the mound. Here comes the pitch to Chandler Taylor, and that's a called strike. Count moves to 0-1. In the 1st inning, in Taylor's first at-bat, he had a ground out to second as the next pitch from Baum just misses. Counts now 1-1. Then in his last at-bat, he worked a walk and then tried to steal second as he'll foul the next pitch into the cage behind him. Counts now 1-2 on Chandler Taylor, and Taylor was caught stealing for the 5th time this year. Usually a pretty good base runner, but just a great throw from D'Alessandro behind the plate, and great tag by Kobe Vance as breaking ball is a called strike 3. Chandler Taylor not happy with that one as he'll stroll back, but that's going to be a strikeout for Tyler Baum, and that's a big one. And now there's 2 outs for Mickey Gasper and nobody on.
Sure is a big one, and we talked a little bit before about Brian Troop's strike zone. He's got a big zone, especially on the inner half to righties and outer half to lefties like Chandler Taylor, and Mickey Gasper digging in from the left side now.
Here comes the first pitch from Baum, and Mickey Gasper lines one and drops it in left center. Mickey Gasper with a line drive and a single. The Harwich Mariners had a little bit of trouble throwing that one back in, and Mickey Gasper kind of jumped and thought about second, but he'll remain on first with 2 outs. Not a lot of room for error there, so a good choice by Mickey Gasper to just stay on first, and now a power hitter in Marty Costas up to bat for Brewster.
And I tell you what, if you're dealing with a strike zone that you don't like, the best way to do it is be aggressive. Marty Costas just smacking the first pitch into left field.
Costas scored the first run of this game for Brewster, hitting from the right side as the breaking ball finds a strike zone. Counts now 0-1 on Costas. You saw Marty Costas over in left field today for the Whitecaps. The ball just kind of went over his head, and then as a ball hits in the dirt for Baum, and counts now 1-1. And it was McCarthy's hit that just kind of bounced over the head of Marty Costas, and McCarthy was able to get into third, a triple there, as Marty Costas fouls one on the first base side. Count moves to 1-2. And the Harwich Mariners were able to score McCarthy to make this the 2-1 game that it is now. That was in the bottom of the 4th as Costas chops one to second baseman Kobe Vance, who makes the throw over to first and completes the inning. So the Whitecaps do get a hit, but they don't score any runs, and they leave Mickey Gasper on. The score is still Brewster 2, Harwich 1 after 4.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Welcome back to White House Field. Bradley Spooner still on the mound for the Whitecaps, and he's going to face Kobe Vance, Jordan Verdon, and Matt Vierling in this bottom of the 5th inning. As the first pitch is a high throw there from Bradley Spooner. Counts now 1-0 on Kobe Vance. And his first at-bat and the lone at-bat of the game, as the 0-1 is dropped in by Kobe Vance right over shortstop A.J. Graffinino's head, and that's going to be a base hit for Kobe Vance. So the lead runner on for the Harwich Mariners.
And I tell you what, this is baseball. Kobe Vance had a 10-pitch at-bat his last time up. Fouled off pitches, wound up popping out in foul territory. That time, first pitch swing gets a single. That's the way this game works.
And now with Kobe Vance at first, it's going to be Jordan Verdon's turn, wearing number 21 for the Mariners. Bradley Spooner with the first pitch. That one a called strike on the outside corner. Counts now 0-1. Verdon, one of the San Diego State Aztecs, played in the Northwoods League last summer for the Kalamazoo Growlers. One of the better names you're going to find in summer baseball, as Spooner checks over at Kobe Vance at first. Vance able to get back to the bag safely. Counts still 0-1 against Verdon. And once again, Spooner checking up on Kobe Vance. Vance does have 6 stolen bases on the year for the Mariners, as he will look to steal second now, as Spooner's pitch to Michael Curry just kind of bounced in the dirt, and Vance is going to be safe. The throw from Curry also bounced in the dirt in front of A.J. Graffinino. So
if that has scored a wild pitch, that's the 3rd for Brewster tonight, which is very uncharacteristic of his team. They came into this game last in the league, tied for last in wild pitches, but that is how it's scored, so that's number 3.
And a tough day for Michael Curry, who's been, when he does catch, has had trouble sometimes defensively, but none of these really his fault. But still, confidence-wise, Michael Curry's a competitive guy. He considers them a little bit on him, as a swing and a miss there from Verdon. Count moves to 1-2. Nice slow breaking ball there from Bradley Spooner. Kobe Vance at second. Runner in scoring position, as Verdon with a hard hit ball to the right side. Moving back is Chandler Taylor, who makes the grab. Kobe Vance heading into third, and he will move to third. He thought about coming home, as Chandler Taylor would have had a long ways to go, but made a nice throw there to A.J. Graffinino, who stared down Vance on third base. But a nice hard hit ball by Verdon there, who kind of got the crowd to ooh and ah. People thought that one, including myself, could potentially go out of the park, but it just moves Kobe Vance within 90 feet away from home plate. As is now Matt Vierling's turn. A breaking ball, a called strike on Vierling. Counts now 0-1. And with just one out and Vance at third, a pop fly will do it here from Vierling and tie this game up. So a big at-bat for Bradley Spooner. Here comes 0-1. This one hit high into center field. On the move is Hunter Bishop, and that will drop right in front of him. And Kobe Vance will indeed score, so this is a tie game. And there is still just one out, as that is going to be a base hit there for Vierling. That one, Hunter Bishop had to move in. He was sprinting, and it just dropped right in front of him, right at his feet.
Number 36, the first
And any Yankee fan will see that play and kind of think about 2001 at the end of the World Series, because they had the infield in, and Hunter Bishop, as you mentioned, Moore, really got on his horse, was charging for that baseball. Graffinino kind of gave up on the play of the shortstop, and it landed maybe 2 or 3 feet beyond the edge of the infield there. A very strange little bloop single, but I'm sure Vierling and the Mariners will take it.
So with one out, runner on first, it's Max Burt's turn. First pitch to him, a called strike from Bradley Spooner. Counts now 0-1. The score is 2-2. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning here at White House Field. Here comes 0-1. And that one hit hard into left field. Marty Costas makes the grab. And the runner has to move back to first. A nice throw there from Marty Costas, just not in time. As Matt Vierling was already on the go, and that ball was hit to second and then had to turn around real quickly and run back to first. Marty Costas again with a nice throw, but Vierling was able to get to the bag safely, so there is just 2 outs here for leadoff hitter Antoine Duplantis, and still a runner on first.
Yeah, that throw beat him, but it was offline, just up the foul line on the right side. A terrific effort from Costas.
Spooner holding the set, and here comes the first pitch. This one, a foul ball, a pop fly, hit high into the third base side. Kyle Datras gets under it, makes the grab, and ends the inning. But a run does score for the Harwich Mariners. Kobe Vance comes home and makes this a tie game. It's 2-2. Don't go anywhere. This one is getting interesting here at White House Field. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Bishop, Infante, and Curry all due up for the Brewster Whitecaps. We're in the top of the 6th inning, and we're all knotted up as Tyler Baum, first pitch we see from him in this inning, fouled off by Hunter Bishop. Right into the cage behind him, counts now 0-1 on Bishop. Hunter Bishop. And the next pitch from Baum, misses outside. Here comes the 1-1. This one misses below the knees. Counts now 2-1 on Hunter Bishop, who had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning to move Marty Costas to third. The 2-1 now to Bishop. Again, misses outside. Count moves to 3-1. And then in his last at-bat, Hunter Bishop hit a pop fly that just tailed foul on the third base line and was called out as he works a walk here. That next pitch from Baum below the knees, and the Brewster Whitecaps kind of following the lead of the Harwich Mariners and now have their first leadoff hitter on first.
From Vanderbilt, Julian Infante.
Julian Infante now up to bat for the Whitecaps. As I mentioned, Harwich got Kobe Vance off on to start the bottom of the 5th, and then Vance came all the way home to make this the 2-2 score that it is now. Brewster trying to regain the lead they had for most of the game. Here comes the pitch from Baum. A breaking ball, drops in for a strike. Counts 0-1 on Infante. Infante himself came home in the 4th inning. Scored the 2nd run for the Brewster Whitecaps off a ribby single from Christian Molfetta, who has since left the game, replaced by Kyle Datras. Next pitch from Baum misses way up high. Counts now 1-1 on Infante. Infante did strike out, though, in the 2nd inning. Just a called strike caught him looking by Logan Browning. Runner moving to second. Hunter Bishop on the move, slides in and is safe. at second base. So now a runner in scoring position, the go-ahead run in scoring position for the Brewster Whitecaps as Hunter Bishop swipes second.
It really seems like Hunter Bishop is picking up his stride in terms of stealing bases. We saw 3 of them yesterday for Bishop. He really was having trouble getting going on the base paths early on this year, was caught a few times in his first few attempts, but now has 4 stolen bases in his past couple of games.
Baum swiveling his head, and here comes the 1-2. This one low and outside. Counts now 2-2 on Julian Infante. With Bishop at second and the speed that he has, a hit by Infante could very easily bring Hunter Bishop in and make this a 3-2 game. Here comes the 2-2. This one chopped foul. Julian Infante swung at that and looks like it might have hit D'Alessandro right in the chest protector and then bounced out almost to right in front of us. We're kind of to the right of the home plate. The lights are on here at White House Field. It's getting dark here in Harwich, Mass. Here comes the 2-2. A swing and a miss from Julian Infante, and he goes down via the strikeout for the second time today. That's the first out of the 6th inning, and now it's Michael Curry's turn.
Well, another important at-bat here for Michael Curry. Didn't get into the game yesterday and is able to get slotted in as catcher tonight. Already has that one ribby single, and for him, you know, we've seen a lot of different players, Coons, Malfetta, a couple of other guys who have kind of hit their stride with some increased playing time. Now Shevchik is kind of swapping the lineup around. Maybe Curry could start hitting his stride here with another confidence-boosting hit here.
Here comes the first pitch to Curry. Fastball. Finds a strike zone. Counts now 0-1 on Michael Curry. Again, Hunter Bishop at second, but there is now 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Tyler Baum staring in. Again, swiveling his head, looking at Bishop, and here comes the 0-1. That one drops below the knees. Counts now 1-1 on Michael Curry. Curry's had a good day for himself. 2 singles. One in the second, as you mentioned. That was an RBI single that brought home Marty Costas, and then his last single in the 4th inning. As Michael Curry hits one hard to shortstop India, who is able to make the play over to first in a 6-3 ground out. That one was hard hit by Michael Curry, but right to India. India didn't really have to move at all on that play. So now there's 2 outs, but Hunter Bishop does move to third. So the go-ahead run 90 feet away for the Brewster Whitecaps. And Kyle Datras now with his first at-bat of this game. Or excuse me, first at bat for in this game. So he replaced Christian Malfetta, who had a nice RBI single, and then Kyle Datras here with a chance to get one himself. As the first pitch from Baum is a strike, counts now 0-1. Here comes 0-1. This one misses in the dirt, counts now 1-1. Datras replaced Malfetta in the 1-1. Misses upstairs, counts now 2-1. The final 2 games for both these teams, but the 2-1 again finds a strike zone, counts now 2-2. This is the final 2 games for both teams, but the Brewster Whitecaps are just trying to go into the playoffs on a hot streak, whereas Harwich Mariners are trying to end their season. They know that they are not in the playoffs. Have been out of the playoff picture for a week as Kyle Datras hits one high into center field. On the move is Duplantis, and he will make a nice diving catch as he kind of slides in to make that catch and end the inning. And Hunter Bishop will be left stranded on third, so the score is still 2-2. The Whitecaps do not get a hit in this inning and do not bring a run home. However, they do leave Hunter Bishop at third. And once again, the score is 2-2. We played 5.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
We're back in Harwich, Massachusetts, and it's going to be, as expected, Troy Miller on the mound for the Whitecaps, replacing Bradley Spooner. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the score is still 2-2. Harwich and Brewster all knotted up. This is one of those scripted games by Jamie Shevchik and Austin Straub, who's the pitching coach for the Whitecaps. They expected Milto and Spooner to split the first 5 and then Troy Miller to come in. As Miller's first pitch is a called strike, count moves to 0-1. And if the rest goes as planned, Miller will pitch 2 innings, and Ryan Sear out of Mississippi State, who is now a Kansas Jayhawk, will come in relief for Miller and close this game out as Jake McCarthy calls for time, gets a couple of practice swings. It's going to be McCarthy, India, and Smith all due up for the Harwich Mariners in this bottom of the 6th inning. Next pitch for Miller, fouled into the netting behind him by McCarthy. Counts now 0-2. Jake McCarthy started out the 4th inning with a nice triple, and then he ended up coming home to make this game 2-1. He came home on a wild pitch from Bradley Spooner. Counts 0-2 on McCarthy. As the 0-2, a check swing, and he did not go. So the count's now 1-2 on McCarthy, and that triple that he had today, he had 7 at Virginia, and that was a record at Virginia. Broke the Cavaliers' record for triples in a single season. So not an uncharacteristic play from him, as the 1-2 again fouled behind him, and Jake McCarthy staying alive in this at-bat. We'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McCarthy did strike out, though, in his first at-bat in the 1st inning on a check swing. Kind of an uneventful first strikeout for Paulie Milto, as he had to appeal down to the 3rd base line, but it was indeed a strikeout. Here comes the 1-2. Once again, a check swing. They appeal down the 3rd base line, but he did not go. So the count moves to 2-2 on McCarthy, who's the number 2 hitter in this Harwich lineup. Miller staring in. Here comes the 2-2. This one hits him right in the back. McCarthy will take first on a hit by a pitch. Seems like that one just got McCarthy right in the back, but he'll just... He appears to be all right. But once again, it's the leadoff runner for the Harwich Mariners.
Number 27, the shortstop from the
Troy Miller on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps. Miller just joined this team not long ago. Only has 1 game under his belt in 2 2/3 innings pitched. Allowed 4 hits and just 1 run. That run was earned, as the first pitch from Miller to John India is a called strike on the outside corner. Counts 0-1. McCarthy is a dangerous guy on the base paths. Remember, 27 steals at Virginia. As the next pitch just misses outside, counts now 1-1 from Troy Miller. Michael Curry kind of staring down McCarthy at first, as is Troy Miller. Here comes the 1-1. That one again misses up and away. Counts now 2-1 to Jonathan India. India has a hit today in the 1st inning, but was left stranded on 3rd by his teammates, as he'll foul one above the press box. Counts 2-2. The score is 2-2 as well. Harwich and Brewster all locked up. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and there is 1 out. No outs. Here comes the next pitch, a big swing and miss, and Troy Miller gets his first strikeout of the day as he got Jonathan India to chase a high fastball. And so John India goes down swinging, and that's going to be the first out of this bottom of the 6th as Jake McCarthy remains on first. And now it's Josh Smith's turn.
Really nice job by Miller using that fastball well late in that at-bat to get the swing and miss for the first K.
Josh Smith, the cleanup hitter today, as the first pitch from Miller misses. Counts now 1-0. Smith 0 for 2 today. Is batting .347 though on the year. As once again, Miller just kind of looking over at McCarthy. They know he's dangerous. Here comes the 1-0. Runner going to second as a nice bunt there on the first base line from Josh Smith. Miller unable to charge in time, and so that will move the runner to second. McCarthy now at second, and Josh Smith with a nice bunt on the first base line puts 2 runners on for Nick D'Alessandro.
That's one of the great things about the Cape Cod Baseball League is the fans here will applaud just as loudly for a play like that than they will for a home run. You know, that was an excellent drag bunt from Josh Smith. There was nobody at first base once Troy Miller finally got to the baseball, and the crowd showing their approval for it. Good start to this frame for Harwich.
And now it's Nick D'Alessandro's turn for the Harwich Mariners. First pitch misses down and outside from Miller. Counts now 1-0. D'Alessandro, a Cape League All-Star, 0 for 2 on the day, batting .271. Here comes the 1-0. Again, misses down and outside. Counts 2-0 on D'Alessandro, who's behind the plate today for the Mariners. Typically splits time with Brad Debo, who the Whitecaps have seen a couple of times behind the plate. But today it's D'Alessandro. Here comes the 2-0. This one hit hard, but will bounce foul on the first base side. Counts now 2-1 on D'Alessandro, one of the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue had a great season this year. In terms of a turnaround, they won 19 more games than they had the year before, so a good turnaround for Purdue. Made the Big Ten tournament for the first time since 2012 as Troy Miller misses way upstairs, and Michael Curry will go have a conversation with Miller, as it seems like they maybe weren't on the same page on that pitch. Counts 3-1 on D'Alessandro, with runners on first and second for the Harwich Mariners, and this is a 2-2 game. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and there is just 1 out. Miller trying to avoid a bases loaded situation here. Looks over at McCarthy at second, who swiped second. Here comes the 3-1. And this one is hit high into center field. Hunter Bishop on the move, and that one is out of here. That one is going to be a ground rule double. That one just bounced over the wall. As you were mentioning, the applause here quite loud for good plays, and so that one is going to be a ground rule double, but a run does score, and the Harwich Mariners are now up 3-2 on the Brewster Whitecaps.
Yeah, why wouldn't you clap? A team taking the advantage, and I know we have seen a lot of different plays where it's been hard to tell whether it's been a homer or one that bounces over. I know a couple plays at Stony Brook Field we've had confrontations between coaches and umpires, but here everybody seems to agree that is a 2-bagger for D'Alessandro.
And Kobe Vance will hit the first pitch. He seeds over to Julian Infante, who throws it home. But that one is not in time. Michael Curry unable to make the tag. Curry is very upset there as Josh Smith will score and make this a 4-2 game. And then Nick D'Alessandro coming home as just things getting a little confusing here for the Brewster Whitecaps. And now they are down 5-2. Michael Curry was arguing with the umpire and then tried to throw the runner out, moving to second, and forgot about the runner on third, who then came over to score. And the Whitecaps now having a meeting on the mound as Coach Jamie Shevchik is coming out to talk to everybody, and he does not look very pleased, Carter.
Yeah, Jamie Shevchik, I'm sure, has had some tense mound meetings over the course of this season, but he's taken a good look at every one of these players, and it's looking like that this is just, it's looking like that, well, he had words for everybody in that huddle. And for Brewster, you just have to hit the reset button here. There's nothing you can do about that play. What a strange thing. Every time you come to the ballpark, you see something you've never seen before.
So it is 4-2 as 2 runs scored on that just kind of confusing play there. We saw a run score for the Harwich Mariners. And so they now go up 4-2. This was a tie game, as it's going to be Jordan Verdon now at the plate for the Mariners. First pitch to Verdon, a swing and a miss. Counts 0-1. As he will foul the next pitch off. And count is now 0-2. And the score is so the count's 0-2. Troy Miller on the mound. And here comes the 0-2 as once again fouled behind him by Verdon. Verdon taking a deep breath. His team regaining the lead on the Brewster, or getting the lead for the first time today on the Brewster Whitecaps. The Whitecaps were up 2-1 for quite a while in this game as Verdon hits a chop ball right to Nick Dunn at second, who stares down the runner at third. That's Kobe Vance at third, and then makes the play over to first. A good play there by Nick Dunn, just looking over at Kobe Vance at third and then making the play at first, making sure Vance does not run home. We've seen Nick Dunn stare down runners like that before, and so now there is 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A crazy bottom of the 6th inning it has been.
Yeah, and that was a great play from Dunn, because Vance is always a guy who's trying to be aggressive on the base pass, so good job to keep it at a 3-run deficit.
Miller with the first pitch. It hit hard by Matt Vierling, and that will get in the gap, and Kobe Vance will score for the Harwich Mariners, as it is now a 6-2 game. This quickly getting out of hand for the Brewster Whitecaps. So I was right the first time when I called it 5-2. Things got very confusing here, but it is now 6-2. That run comes in for the Harwich Mariners. Remember, it was 2-2. Everything all knotted up before this inning started, and it's been a very tough one for the Brewster Whitecaps, but a good one for the Harwich Mariners. Miller with the first pitch. Now to Max Burt, who's a number 9 hitter in this lineup for the Mariners. Burt just found Vierling just found the gap over the second base bag to get on first. He's the only runner on. A big swing and miss. Runner moving to second, and Vierling will swipe second as the throw from Michael Curry was not in time. Counts 1-1 though on Max Burt, but again, another runner in scoring position for the Harwich Mariners. We just saw Kobe Vance score from third on an RBI single to make this a 6-2 game here in Harwich, Massachusetts. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss there. Counts now 1-2. Miller trying to end this inning. And a breaking ball does it. That is going to be a strikeout to end this inning. Max Burt goes down via the strikeout. We are through 6 innings of play, and Harwich has regained the lead on Brewster. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
We welcome you back to Harwich. We're starting the 7th inning of play. The first pitch from Tyler Baum misses outside to the lefty swinging A.J. Graffinino. It is the 9-1 and 2 hitters due up for the Whitecaps after Harwich put up a 4 spot in a bizarre 6th inning. That gave him a 6-2 lead. The pitch to Graffinino is a fastball that misses inside. So the count is 2-0 on A.J., who so far is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out to left field to his name so far in this ball game. Brewster trailing 6-2 now. Here's the pitch. It's Swan. It hit hard through the middle and into center field for a base hit. Graffinino is on. And if you're coming back from a deficit, that's the way to do it for Brewster, as Graffinino gets the leadoff runner aboard for the 2nd straight frame for the Whitecaps. And for Brewster, that was just, it really did just feel like the wheels came off in that 6th frame. Michael Curry allowing a run to score when he was arguing with the ump, threw it over into center field. He was charged with an error, so one of those 4 runs that scored was unearned. Nick Dunn now up with a runner on first base and nobody out. Dunn hitting from the left side. The pitch. Misses up high. The count 1 ball and no strikes. Dunn still trying to keep the hitting streak going. It's sitting at 17. This is his 4th at-bat. Has reached via a walk. Here's the pitch. It misses low, but that walk was bookended by a ground ball in the 1st and a pop fly in the 5th. So hoping to extend it to 18, but has not yet been able to get the base knocked today, is the man from Maryland. Runner on first base, nobody out. Baum holds the set. Here comes the pitch. It's fouled away toward the left side. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Brewster at one point in this game had a 2-0 lead. Whitecaps' 2nd run came in on a Christian Malfetta ribby single. But it's now 6-2 Mariners. The pitch is hit high in the air, foul ground behind the plate, and will get out of play. So the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Nick Dunn. Tyler Baum so far has looked cool as a cucumber since he started things off in the 4th. Did give up that ribby single off the bat of Malfetta and 3 hits in that 4th inning, but since then, just 2 hits from the Whitecaps. The pitch. Foul back again. Nick Dunn continuing to take his hacks. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Maryland Terrapin. Baum, a rising sophomore originally from Florida. He's a UNC Tar Heel. The pitch misses just a bit outside to make the count full 3-2. Had a terrific start the last time these two teams met up, when the Whitecaps were facing the Mariners at Stony Brook Field. Through 6 frames, only 2 runs. Runners going for second. The pitch is hit high in the air behind the plate foul. Now moving toward the left side. The third baseman comes in and cannot make the play. He dropped it. Did Smith, the third baseman. And that, I think, is going to go on the board as an E5, and it is. So the at-bat will continue for Nick Dunn. A bit of a groan in the crowd. as Smith unable to collect that foul ball. This has not been a banner day defensively for either side. Michael Curry was charged with an error for his play in the 6th. There's the 3-2 pitch. It's foul away to keep the count full 3-2. And there have been 3 now Harwich errors in this game for the Mariners. So team's looking a little out of sync in the field today. This game has really just taken a turn for the weird. Waiting on a 3-2 pitch, runner on first base, nobody out. Harwich is ahead 6-2, top 7. Runner goes again. The pitch misses for ball 4. They threw it down. Might have been able to get the runner, Graffinino, but it won't matter as Nick Dunn advances on his 2nd walk of the game. 1st and 2nd for Brewster.
You know, with Nick Dunn, we always talk about his hitting streak and how well he's been hitting recently, but he does have an on-base percentage of .424. He's been working walks. He's been showing a lot of plate discipline. We even saw him get on by a hit by the pitch the other day against Whitey. So this Nick Dunn has been doing basically it all for the Whitecaps so far this year. Really a guy that deserves a lot of praise.
Chandler Taylor now digging in for the Whitecaps. Calls for time to kick up some dirt, and now will settle into the left-handed batter's box. This is the guy you want up if you're trying to put a dent in the deficit. The pitch is in there for a called strike at the knees. Count 0-1. Graffinino and Dunn certainly did their jobs to set the table in this 7th inning, with Graffinino singling and Dunn walking, and now it's Taylor, Gasper, and Marty Costas for the Whitecaps with nobody out. Waiting on an 0-1 pitch. Here it comes. It is in there for a called strike. That one just dropped. That one maybe started off at the letters or maybe a tad higher and just dropped right into the zone. So the count is 0-2 on Chandler Taylor now. Taylor so far today grounded out in the 1st inning, drew a walk, and was caught stealing in the 3rd, and then struck out looking in inning number 5 his last time up. Baum checks the runner at 2nd to pitch. Swing and a miss way out in front of that breaking ball, and Chandler Taylor has back-to-back strikeouts tonight. He goes down swinging on that curveball for out number 1. That's the 3rd K for Tyler Baum in this game. He really does have terrific stuff, especially on that breaking ball. Folks around here are saying it's a major league ready pitch for Tyler Baum. Here is Mickey Gasper, who will dig in from the left side, the switch hitter against the righty Baum. Baum checks the runner, the pitch. Misses low to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. We're in the top of the 7th inning here in Harwich. The Mariners are ahead 6-2. Mickey Gasper singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. And Baum is ready. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. Just grooved that fastball in right down Broadway. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Mickey Gasper. Baum again holding the set, checks the runner. 1-1 the count, the pitch. Off-speed pitch that's in there for another called strike. Gasper maybe not too big of a fan of the call from Brian Truppa. Will nod his head after walking around just a bit, and he digs back in. Things have cooled off a little bit as the sun is set here in Harwich. It is a full-on night game now at 8:31 on the East Coast. Baum will step off. Mentioned before, it was very hot at the start of this day and clear, but maybe after a couple of innings, the sun departed, and we've had some good old-fashioned night baseball. 1-2 pitches hit high in the air, out to left field. Moving back and toward the foul line is the left fielder, Vierling, and he will not make the play. It's off his glove, and it drops for, we'll see how they score it. And the bases will be loaded. Graffinino was tagging at 2nd, so he could only move as far as 3rd, which meant that the runners behind him, or excuse me, that was the runners behind him, Dunn and Mickey Gasper, couldn't move any farther either. You'd think that that's going to go as an E7. Either way, it's going to be a play that's going to leave Matt Vierling kicking himself. He was ranching back all the way over into the left field corner and couldn't make the play. And now it's bases loaded for Costas.
Yeah, Matt Vierling got just kind of a late jump on that ball, and then he was moving back almost like he thought it was almost out of here, and then almost had to shift his body in a very odd angle to try to make that play. And so that's a tough one there for the Harwich Mariners, because now it's bases loaded, but A.J. Graffinino also watching that one maybe a little too closely instead of just running the base pass.
The pitch to Costas is hit into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Graffinino will score from 3rd. Hitting around 3rd is Nick Dunn. The throw will not come into home plate. Dunn scores on the play. It's a 2-run single on the first pitch from Marty Costas, and the Whitecaps have cut the lead in half. It's now 6-4 Mariners.
Well, Marty Costas just has been great for the Brewster Whitecaps, and especially as of late. We saw him against Whitey go 4 for 5 and just got his team back into this game with just one hit. And Marty Costas and Nick Dunn, two Maryland Terrapins who I talked to Jamie Shevchik about, he says they have just been fantastic for this team, stepping up in big situations always.
So it's now 6-4 Mariners. The pitch to Bishop is a fastball taken for strike one. Costas now has 23 RBIs on the season. He has been red hot toward the end of this year. One of the individual guys you can point to as to why Brewster appears to be peaking at the right time. The pitch to Bishop is another fastball for another strike. That one looked like it was in on the inner half of the plate to the Arizona State Sun Devil. Bishop walked and stole second his last time, but was left stranded in scoring position in the sixth inning for Brewster. First and second, one man out, 0-2 the count on Hunter Bishop, who will call for time and now dig back into the lefty batter's box. Baum is holding the set, and here comes the 0-2. It's cut on and missed for strike three. Another fastball, blew it by Hunter Bishop. Bishop was waiting for that off-speed stuff, but it never came in that at-bat. 3 heaters. That's the 4th strikeout for Baum, the second in this frame, 2 gone. Now it's Julian Infante's turn for the Whitecaps. Tying run on first base for Brewster. It's Costas on first. Mickey Gasper is on second for the Whitecaps. Under the lights here in Harwich. And Infante is taking in from the right side. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball, and it's in there for a called strike. Tyler Baum has done a terrific job keeping Whitecaps hitters guessing about where he's going to go in terms of fastball versus off-speed. Certainly fooled Hunter Bishop there. Started off with a couple of fastballs in that at-bat, and this time with an opening breaking ball to Infante. Here comes the 0-1. Fastball cut on and missed. Blew it by him. So Baum able to change speeds on Infante there. This is impressive considering this is now the 3rd time through the order for Tyler Baum. Costas was the first hitter that he faced when he started things out on his day in the 4th inning. 0-2 the count now on Infante. With 2 men out, the pitch. Breaking ball that misses outside. Count 1-2. Baum trying to get that put-away pitch there. Couldn't quite locate it. So 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. It's 6-4. Mariners ahead with 2 runs already in on a ribby single by Marty Costas, the 2-run hit. In this frame, 1-2 pitch. Hit high in the air toward the right field line. Shallow right field. Moving back is the first baseman, Bird, and he's going to make the play, and that will retire the side. So the Whitecaps get a couple of runs on the 2-run single from Costas and nothing more. 2 runs, 2 hits, and 2 runners left on for the Brewster Whitecaps. 3 hits, excuse me, in this frame. I knew my math didn't add up there. We're through 6.5, time to stretch in Harwich, and it's 6-4 Mariners on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. Back here in Harwich, we're starting the bottom of the 7th inning. Troy Miller still on the mound for Brewster, and Antoine Duplantis digging in for the Harwich Mariners. He takes a strike to begin his at-bat and make the count 0-1. It's the top of the order due up for Harwich here in the 7th inning of this ball game. The Whitecaps are trailing in this game 6-4 to the Mariners. Duplantis a lefty. The pitch misses low, so the count is 1-1 strike on Antoine Duplantis. Duplantis is one of those new arrivals on this Mariners team. In fact, the first 4 hitters on Harwich's lineup card today, Duplantis, McCarthy, India, and Smith. As the 1-1 pitch comes in, it misses down and in to make the count 2-1. The first 4 hitters on the Mariners lineup have all been here less than a month here on the Cape. Smith and Duplantis both came from LSU on the 7th of July. India came in on the 10th of July, and McCarthy showed up on July 23rd after his sojourn with Team USA. 2-1 pitch misses outside to lefty Duplantis, who is still trying to get on base in this ball game. He's 0 for 3, hit a pop fly into foul territory on the left side his last time up. 3-1 pitch coming. It's hit hard on the ground, foul, right side, over toward the Whitecaps dugout on the first base side. So the count is full now on Duplantis, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Harwich put up a 4 spot in the 6th inning on some pretty unusual baseball. They got in a run on an infield fielder's choice. Then Michael Curry threw a ball in the center field. 2 runs came in on the play. 3-2 pitch. Foul away left side. And we'll do it again with the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Brewster trying to avoid what would be their first loss to Harwich this year. 3-2. Hit high in the air, shallow left field. Costas charging toward the foul line on the run, makes the catch. Terrific play from Marty Costas. Was on his horse from the get-go, got an excellent jump, and ran down that baseball. I think he was in foul ground by the time he made the catch for out number 1. Great job by Marty to just cover some ground out there. So now it's Jake McCarthy's turn. McCarthy's had a good day at the plate. Has 2 runs scored in this game. Scored a run after getting on by what was generously scored a triple in the 4th inning. And then was hit by a pitch and later came around to score in that wild 6th frame. The pitch to the lefty McCarthy is a breaking ball in there for a called strike. To make the count, no balls and 1 strike on McCarthy. McCarthy, as I mentioned, spent some time with Team USA this summer. He had 232 with the national team in 20 games and 14 starts. No home runs, 6 ribbies, was 3 out of 3 stealing bases, something he's terrific at. The 0-1 pitch to McCarthy misses low to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. McCarthy had 27 stolen bases and 29 tries for Virginia this past spring, which was the best mark in the ACC. 1-1 pitch is a chopper foul behind the plate. So the count is 1-2 on McCarthy, who's originally from the Electric City, Scranton, Pennsylvania, a rising junior. Lefty hitter against Troy Miller, who was back out for that 2nd inning of work. If all goes according to plan, he'll be done after this frame, and Ryan Sear will throw the last 2 innings for the Whitecaps to finish the game off. 1-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Just got a piece of that fastball from Miller. Did McCarthy. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. McCarthy, a multi-sport athlete in high school, was first-team All-State as a running back his junior year. Is his school's all-time leading rusher at Scranton High School in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 1-2 pitch is a high chopper right back to the catcher, right back to the pitcher. Miller did a great job to field it. Underhands it to Infante. 2 gone.
We've seen a couple of good plays from the Brewster Whitecaps pitchers today. We saw Bradley Spooner do a nice job covering the bag on a play in order to preserve the out, and then we just saw a nice leaping play there from Troy Miller. So pitchers kind of getting a bit of a workout today for the Whitecaps.
Now it's Jonathan India's turn after the first 2 hitters were retired in order in this frame. Pitch to a 3-hitter is grounded foul right toward the Harwich dugout, right off the protective screen, beneath where all of the red and white clothed Mariners are sitting over on the top step of the dugout. 0-1 is the count now on India. India is 1 for 3. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It skips in front of the plate. Curry gloves it. It was low count, 1 ball and 1 strike now on India, who doubled in the first inning, moved to third in a wild pitch, but then was left stranded there, and a couple of strikeouts after that. He's facing Troy Miller for the second time. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Misses outside. Miller got India swinging his first time. But these two faced off. It's 6-4. Brewster is ahead here in the bottom of inning number 7, with 2 men out and nobody on here in Harwich. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Just misses low. Curry did his best to frame that one. It was an off-speed pitch there from Troy Miller, but judged by Brian Troop to be just knees of the righty swinging India. So the count's 3-1. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss to make the count full. Took a rip at that one, showing off some good bat speed, if nothing else, did Jonathan India. So the count is full with 2 men out and nobody on. Miller staring in, shakes off one sign, shakes off another from Curry. Now gets the one that he's looking for. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Cut on him is for strike 3. So Troy Miller recovers from that strange 6th inning to get a 1-2-3 7th against the first 3 hitters in the Harwich lineup. At the end of 7 innings of play, it's Harwich 6, Brewster 4. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to Harwich here. Michael Curry will lead things off for Brewster as we start the 8th inning of play between the Whitecaps and the Mariners. Harwich is ahead 6-4. The pitch to Curry is in there for a called strike on the inside corner. Perhaps a generous call behind the plate from Brian Troop. Curry has had a good day at the plate. He's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles and a run batted in, though last time he grounded out against Tyler Baum, who's still out there. The pitch is hit high in the air behind the plate. Moving over behind the plate is the catcher, and he will notch it head back behind the plate foul, and amongst the children looking for a souvenir. As D'Alessandro just watched that one fly right over our heads. Counts 0-2. That single from Curry drove in what was the first run of this ball game. It started off as a very quick pitcher's duel this game. The 0-2 pitch misses down and in. But both teams have kind of had experimental approaches to the pitchers that they've been trotting out. Harwich has kind of been flipping the script, starting with bullpen guys and ending with starters. 1-2 pitch is hit hard down the left field line. It's going to be a base hit left field center gap. Picking it up is Vierling, another single for Curry. 3 for 4 on the day is Curry. And a leadoff man on again for Brewster. 3rd straight time they've done that. So now it'll be Kyle Datris digging in for the Caps. Datris was robbed of a hit on a nice little sliding catch by the catcher, by the center fielder Duplantis. His last time up for Datris, so he is 0 for 1 today. He replaced Christian Malfetta. Datris hitting from the right side. Curry is on first base. There's nobody out, and the score is 6-4. Harwich on top. The pitch is in there for a strike on the fastball to make the count 0-1 on Kyle Datris. Datras waiting on an 0-1 pitch. Here comes the offering from Tyler Baum. It's a breaking ball in there for a strike. To make the count 0-2, Baum has done a terrific job of changing speeds in this ball game. As Baum holds the set, and here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a ground ball towards shortstop. Let's see if they can turn 2. Over to second for 1. On to first. In time for a double play. A terrific 4-6-3 DP turned by the Mariners for the first 2 outs of this 8th inning. Started off by India over there at shortstop. An excellent job by Harwich, and there are 2 gone in the top of the 8th.
Well, for a Brewster team trying to mount a comeback, that's exactly what you don't need. You got a leadoff hitter on with Michael Curry getting another single on the day, and then that just completely canceled out with Kyle Datras hitting into a double play. Now A.J. Graffinino up to bat with nobody on.
Here is Graffinino. The pitch to the Brewster shortstop is in there for a called strike on the inner half. Graffinino, the man out of Washington, singled and scored a run his last time up in a 2-run 7th for Brewster. Both of those runs came in on a single from Marty Costas. 0-1 pitch. Tried to drag bunted, but it went foul. Not sure if he got a piece of that or not. In any case, the count is going to be 0-2 as Graffinino was hustling over to first base, dropped the bat and everything, but it went well behind home plate. There is plenty of room behind home plate here in Harwich, behind the, well, I call it the circle, but it's a home plate shape, the dirt cut out around home. One of the signature things about White House Field. Reminds you of Comerica Park in Detroit, where they've also got that home plate shape cut out. 0-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen, or over it. So the count stays 0-2 on A.J. Graffinino. Harwich has been, they're trying to move to 4-1 since they were eliminated from playoff contention. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It misses up high and away, so it's 1-2. That's something that Jamie Shevchik talked about in the postgame interview yesterday. He said, you know, it's tough when a team's going out there and playing for pride. Here comes the 1-2. Swing and a miss, he got him. A fastball from Tyler Baum, who's looking just about as locked in as one can here on the mound in that 8th inning. No runs to hit, and thanks to a double play, nobody left for the Whitecaps in the 8th frame. At the end of 7.5 innings of play, the Mariners still lead 6-4. This is Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating bloods, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center. We welcome you back to Harwich. We're starting the bottom of the 8th inning here, and as expected, it's a new hurler for Brewster. Ryan Sear will take the mound. His aim is to get the final 2 innings in this ball game. Just 1 appearance for him as a Brewster Whitecap. Came back on Sunday against YD. Went 1 inning in that game. No hits allowed or runs. He did walk 1 and struck out a pair. And he will face Smith, D'Alessandro, and Vance. The first pitch to the lefty, Josh Smith, misses up high. Make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Smith, one of those newer players on this Harwich team. Again, 4 of their first 4 players in the lineup are less than a month old on this team. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Blew that one by him, did Ryan Sear. And Josh Smith will take a second to collect himself. Smith reached on a bunt single, terrific bunt, his last time up. Later came around to score in the 4-run 6th inning. 1-1 pitch misses up high. It's now 6-4. Mariners are on top here on the bottom of inning number 8. Sear staring in, gets the sign from Michael Curry. The pitch is fouled back to the screen. No defensive changes for Brewster. We have seen in some of these games where the Whitecaps have been trying to get guys different reps, some changes here and there from Jamie Shevchik, but tonight just the one when Malfetta left the game. Replaced by Datris at third. Waiting on a 2-2 pitch. Here it comes. Foul back to the screen. Just barely staying alive there was Smith as he was able to get his bat on that fastball from Sear. Smith is now 1-for-3 on his day, accounting for that bunt single his last time up in the 6th inning. Waiting on a 2-2 pitch now. Here comes the offering from Ryan Sear. And it just misses up and away. So the count is 3-2. A lot of awards talk around the Cape here with Tyler Baum, who's still on the mound for Harwich, was named their team MVP. We also saw the league MVP was named today as Grayson Genesta from Katuitt got the award. 3-2 pitch is fouled away toward the left side, so the count remains full. Bit of a surprise that Genesta was awarded, though. It was a very tough decision this year to see who was going to get that coveted MVP. Here on the Cape League, Griffin Conine was named Best Pro Prospect. He has had a terrific season. Count is full 3-2. Pitch to Smith. Misses down and in, so it's ball 4, and Josh Smith will work a leadoff walk. Those always seem to come back to bite you, don't they?
Absolutely, and this is, in the short time we've seen Sear been a bit of an issue for him, as he has walked a couple of guys so far this year, and Harwich can't have them extend their lead anymore because 2 runs is doable in the 9th inning, but 3 might be a little out of reach for the Whitecaps here.
So here is Nick D'Alessandro. The pitch is in there for a called strike just on the outer edge to make the count 0-1. There is action right now in the bullpen for the Harwich Mariners. It looks like Austin Hansen is warming for them, right-hander. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It misses down and away, so it's 1-1 now on D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro doubled his last time up, brought a run in that 6th frame. That was right before the inning kind of became chaotic for Brewster. 1-1 is the count. The pitch is hit high in the air toward right field. Moving a bit to his left is Chandler Taylor. Now comes in and makes the catch. Nice job by the man from Alabama to track that baseball down. So a hard hit baseball there from D'Alessandro, but he's got nothing to show for it. That's the first out of the bottom of the 8th. And now it's Kobe Vance's turn. Vance was the base runner that sparked one of the stranger plays we've seen all year. The Whitecaps brought the infield in at the time, and Vance hit a ground ball to Infante, the first baseman. Infante thought they had a play at the plate. He threw it home, and Curry did his best to apply the tag as Josh Smith was scrambling in. The pitch to the righty is hit on the ground to shortstop. It's going to get through for a base hit into left field. Graffinino was pinching in a bit towards second base, and that one was right away to straightaway short, but Graffinino didn't have enough room over to move over and grab that hard hit baseball. So a single makes it first and second now for the Mariners with just one out.
The designated hitter from San Diego State, Jordan Verdon.
After Infante tried to get Smith out to finish the sequence of events, Curry wasn't happy with the call at the plate. He thought he got the out. He was arguing with the umpire and then threw the ball into second. While he was arguing, Kobe Vance had the presence of mind to try and run into second base, and then Curry threw down to second to try and get him, and the throw in into center field allowed another run to score. Vance moved all the way to third on the play. It was a very chaotic scene. Curry was charged with an error. So here is Jordan Verdon. He's a lefty hitter against the righty Sear. Runners going, double steal. The pitch is in there for a strike. Throw down to third, won't be in time. A terrific jump from Josh Smith, who was going for third base, and Vance goes over to second on a double steal from Harwich. How do you like that? An aggressive play from Steve Englert. And now it's two runners in scoring position.